Hey everyone, it's the Centurions podcast again. We're back after a pretty long summer break. We just needed some time to rest and to regain some of our lost energies. With COVID around, that didn't help. But now we're back. We can call this season 2, I think. Brand new guests, brand new topics. Even to the point where we're dealing with, some new developments like today regarding the Centurions franchise. Today, my co-host is Nick, stepping in for Mark, and basically he is our third guy. So, hey, Nick, how's it going?
I'm good, man. How about yourself today?
Can't complain. Podcast day, so I'm pretty happy. And our special secret guest is Jerrick. And Jerrick Neo, as he's known on Facebook, he's a friendly member of our Centurions Facebook group, and basically he came to our attention because he made some really, really excellent looking. I'm not sure if I can say the brand. I would say Lego-like, but custom made figures. Actually, he showed us his Max Ray figure first. And that looks really amazing. It basically looks like a Lego-ified Max Ray. And, probably if you've seen the pictures, we're going to display some of those photos maybe along with the podcast video as well. You might have a bunch of questions. So do we. So, that's basically what's planned for today. Jerrick, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Yuri and Nick. Thanks for having me here today.
Absolutely. Jerrick, would you mind telling us a bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from?
Sure. My name is Jerrick. I'm from Singapore. I'm 41 this year. I'm working as a lead technician in a coffee company. Yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Before we started recording the podcast, one of the big things that Nick and I were thinking about was whether you had a big fan base of Centurions in your home country. What's the history of Centurions there, and how did you hear about the show?
I'm sure there's following for Centurions in Singapore as well, but apparently, I think we are more into other mainstream figures for now, like Marvel, Iron Man, 1/6 collectibles, Transformers. So I believe there are Centurion collectors out there that we don't pop up so often.
Mm-hmm. Did you have the cartoon also?
Yeah, we had a cartoon. I remember rushing home from school every day just to watch it.
That's awesome. Yeah, and so basically you like us Europeans, you also had the show later, so not in the 80s, or did you have it right when it came out in America?
We had it right when it came out in America. We had the toys as well.
Oh.
I will believe it's about the same time as the release worldwide.
Oh, cool. And did you have the entire selection of figures that were released in America, or just a smaller range?
To be honest, I was pretty young then. I don't know if they have everything, but to me there was a lot of toys available for purchase, a lot of varieties, definitely. But I'm not really sure if they have everything.
Mm-hmm. And which ones did you get as a child, or did you only start collecting as an adult, or did you already have toys as a kid?
I had only one Centurion when I was a kid, and it was, you could say it was a mistake. I bought the Death Charger. Mm-hmm. My parents bought me a Death Charger, and I didn't read the fine print. Figures not included. So I was basically, having a Death Charger with no figures at all, and I didn't know what I could do.
Wow, that's funny. So did you ask them for a figure, and did they say that you have to wait until next birthday or something like that?
No, I was pretty embarrassed about my mistake. I mean, my mom did ask me, "Is this what you want?" And I said, "Yes, yes, I want that charger." And to be honest, I was quite embarrassed with my mistake, so I didn't voice it out. I just kept quiet and I was happy to have a piece of Centurion.
That's funny.
Were the toys available easily in your home country, or did you have to, try to hunt them down in certain stores?
Our department store is quite well stocked. Yeah, and it's basically everywhere. Um, basically, each departmental store we go to, we had a lot of choices. Yeah, there's no problem getting them.
It's interesting because I think I've heard of from other, like we have quite, Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, but we have a bunch of other guys from Singapore who apparently, like, there's a big fan base there, or a bigger, like one of the biggest fan bases, so to say, outside the US. So Jerrick, did you like, do you know others there, or is there, like, are there groups, or are there, like, other fans who have a bunch of these figures and are collecting these figures?
Um, I do not know of any other collectors group in Singapore, but I do have a friend who is in our Facebook group as well, and I believe he has a much more bigger collection than mine.
Huh.
Mm.
Actually, we do have quite a bit, and I'm actually trying to access the group right now to pull up the information. But as Yuri pointed out, we do have quite a bit of members that are from Singapore. I'm just trying to get the exact number over here. When you use desktop versus Android, it's not the same. So I'm trying to figure out how to navigate through this on the PC here. So just, if you guys give me a moment, I'll find the info and get right back to you guys on that.
Definitely. Until you find that, so we're going to go into the figures itself, or discuss the figures themselves real soon. Jerrick, for you personally, what was the thing that made you fall in love with Centurions? What's the appeal for you?
Um, the appeal is that you can add in different weapon systems. They are all interchangeable. I find that really cool. Um, yes, at that time it was something that we have never seen or heard of, where that the exo suit thingy that's going on. So
Mhm.
yeah, I found that personally to be really cool, where you can actually uh, just shout out a command and you have your weapon system beamed down to you from space. That's pretty cool.
Oh, cool. And I was thinking of another question when you were talking about, before, like, the show in your country. So did you have the cartoon dubbed, or was it in English?
It was in English.
Oh, gotcha.
That's an excellent question, actually, and I was wondering about that when he was talking about being able to watch the cartoon. I'm like, was it in English or overdubbed?
English is our mother tongue here. It's our first language. So yeah, we get all the cartoons in English.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
gotcha. Because I know that for some countries, even though they are really hard to track down, they made some local dubs. Like, for example, I think for Italians, they made their local translation, and you can even find the Italian opening credits to the show completely in Italian on YouTube. So that's why I was wondering. Um,
I'm gonna interrupt for a moment. I found that info. I just didn't
okay.
scroll down good enough on the page here. So for United States members, there are 482 members. And then it goes to the United Kingdom at 230, then Singapore at 67. But if you look at top cities listed, because that's top countries, there's another category for cities. And Singapore is, well, at 67. Then it goes to London, UK at 22, and then Indonesia. I can't even pronounce that. My pronunciation is a little. I don't want to mispronounce the city's name, but it's in Indonesia, and there's 20 members.
Uh-huh. Well, you might even start your own fan club there. Apparently, yours the most populous. If you I don't know if you live in the in that city, but it's certainly like with 60 people, that's a pretty good number for a fan club.
Yeah, Singapore is actually a pretty small country, and I believe if we want, we can get the Singapore fan base started.
Mm-hmm. It would be cool to have like a convention there or something, and you guys show up supporting the Centurions fan base.
Well, I'd say if it's pretty small, 67 members, you should be able to find them pretty easily. Then hopefully, do some trading going over there.
You know what? I think you can order these custom T-shirts. I think they probably ship over there as well. Like some independent artists started recently, like in the past few years, releasing custom Centurions T-shirts. So maybe if you put one on, people might stop you on the street or something, or the comic book convention, and be like, "Hey, I've seen that show as well," and maybe you can connect with them or something.
I don't know about the rest of the collectors, but I'm pretty shy. So that's the way we are when we see someone with a nice Centurions T-shirt on the street. Maybe we'll just that's a nice one. I wonder about it. I think that's about it. Yeah, but I mean that applies to me. I don't know if it's if the rest of them would be more willing to speak up or just say hi. But talking about T-shirts, I actually have a couple of designs as well. I've never got around to printing them, but as per your suggestion, I might just get something started.
Definitely. There's even if you want to share it with fans. There's this website that I got my Centurions shirts from called, I think it's called Redbubble, and they are really good with you just upload your content, and people can then buy it, and you get a percentage of the profits, and the site gets another share of the profits. And I got some really cool, really high quality Centurions shirts from over there. And for me personally, it happened once that I went to the New York Comic Con last year, and I think in one whole day I was stopped by not many people, but like 2-3 people who are like, "Hey man, I remember that show. That was great." So and you never know what might happen if you walk around in Singapore, in your Centurions shirts.
Sure, I'll give it a try.
You might try. So not to make people wait any longer, could you tell us about your custom figures, how you came up with the idea?
Okay, so now we have COVID-19 going around, and for Singapore there was a period where we had a circuit breaker. So essentially, it means that if you are not essential workers, you have to stay at home, and I had a lot of time to spare. So I've always been wanting to get into a lot of things like 3D printing. I've been looking to expand my Centurions collections all along, and I thought, why not just put the two together? And I've started 3D drawing not too long. I'm not really good with very organic designs, and I thought, the most straightforward way would be for me to go towards a more Lego-ish kind of styling, so it's easier for me to achieve what I want to come up with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what was this one of your first major projects with 3D printing and design, or you already experienced with this?
This is my very first 3D print and design work.
Oh wow, that's really great work, man! Congratulations.
For your first one, you really did an amazing job.
Yeah.
I have experience with model making, I do paint or I do restore Iron Man for some of my clients. I used to have a toy shop. I used to be in the toy business for about maybe 15 years. So
Oh, really?
yeah, but it's gotten kind of monotonous. So I decided to just wind up and do something else.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
yeah, you could say that I have some experience with painting and airbrushing, but for manufacturing and just building something up, this is really my first attempt.
Gotcha. And what software and what tools did you use?
I use a couple of software like SketchUp. It's really easy to learn, and I do a bit of mesh mixer as well. It's more for finishing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'll use SketchUp more, but there's a lot of because SketchUp I would think is more for really like architectural or really it's not so much for organic designs I find, but for now I don't have a problem with that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, my question for you is that, well, let me figure out how the best way to word this one is. Uh, Centurions. So why go with like Centurions to be your first little project on this one? I mean, the reason I asked that it's we haven't seen any Centurions merchandise for many years, and then you come around and you show us your little prototype there of your Max Ray, and depending on how you look at it, it's the first Centurion action figure we've gotten in since Kenner closed up shop many years ago. So I was really happy to see that. It's like, wow, this is literally it's a whole new style of action figure of our favorite character. One of our favorite favorite character from one of our, from our favorite TV show here. So, what made you decide that I'm going to tackle Centurions first, not maybe I'm going to make a figure for Marvel Legends that never got made? But I mean, you tackle Centurions, you did Max Ray, and you did the entire weapon system and came up with a way to attach it. It's to me that's like very ambitious for what you pulled off there for your first project.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always loved Centurions. Uh, the childhood memory is always there, and I I didn't actually put much thought into it. I just I was cleaning up my display cabinet the other day. I had a couple of my Centurions on display, and yeah, it's a pretty smooth or natural thought. I didn't think of anything else like mask or visionaries or some other toys. Um, yeah, I just decided to go. I was thinking that it would be cool to have my own Centurion since um, there's so many out there I do not have, and I don't think I'll be able to get some of them because looking at the prices now is really not cheap. I figured out why not just make my own little collection.
Yeah, that's actually pretty smart. And it's funny. I'm just gonna share a short little story that happened because previously, if you guys out there listening to this listened to the episodes with Alton Takayasu, one of the main designers for Centurions, and actually the person responsible for Max Ray and his weapon systems. He genuinely complimented Jerrick for his design, and he was like blown away because it looked so good. So coming from the guy who actually designed Max Ray, being complimented, how that did that feel to you?
Oh, it's definitely an honor, but I remember he mentioned that they were trying to steer away from the Lego book. So sorry to him about that. But yeah, I mean, I like I'm pretty happy with how it turned out as well.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
and yeah, so definitely, that's yeah. In a podcast, he did mention that when they were designing the toys, one of the main guidelines was do not make it look like a Lego figure, or do not so it's funny
Yep.
that that, like Nick said, the first original reincarnation of a Centurions figure would actually be an oversized Lego figure, custom made, and it would turn out so well. So it's just funny.
Yeah, the irony there. But I, I just find it, there's appeal in it. Um, it's not too big. It's not too challenging for me. I actually thought about doing it in 1/18 scale as well previously, but it seems pretty small. And like I say, I'm not good with organic sculpting, so I, I think the bit of the deform approach, it's a lot easier for me to pick up, and it looks cute as well.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
So
adorable. That's one of the reasons why I love it. It's
Yeah.
even that when you showed off the package, I was just blown away with that package. I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, this is the most adorable thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I definitely need to get one of these in my collection. It's it was an ingenious idea. Right down, right, even how you mimic the package. That was great.
yeah, and I'm just looking at the package. We're going to share some of these images along with the podcast, and you can find more on the Centurions Facebook page. But yeah, like even the packaging is so meticulously and well designed, and it's funny because Max Ray is shown as as a 3D rendered cartoonish figure in the front, and there's a little shark in the background, and even the shark is like a Lego inspired, Lego designed shark, and it's like just so flavorful. It's really good looking.
It is, man. That's really. I told you in the message before, and I'll say it publicly on here. It was a brilliant idea, and you executed it so, so well. It was nice. And to quote another YouTube artist, I believe their words were that the fans are making the best, or something along the lines that the fans are making the best toys right now. You pretty much proved it right there with that little Lego figure. That the fans are really stepping up and make since Kenner or I should say Hasbro is not doing anything with the license. It's the fans stepping up and be like, all right, well, I'm going to do something for it, and that figure really just delivers right there. So nicely done.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, with technology now, it's a lot easier to get things done or to try out new things. Um, mm, how do I put it? Let me think. Uh, yeah, I can just say that with the rise of 3D printing technology, basically everything is possible now.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. And you didn't just print it and design it, but the box really, it looks amazing because it echoes like the original box design, where it shows the figure in different environments, and also I'm looking at it, and you made a Jerrick logo that's stylized like Kenner's logo. I don't know if Nick, if you noticed that, but
No, I
Yeah.
have not. I'll have to, I mean
that's brilliant.
that is.
That's awesome. So Jerry, tell us how much of the work, like how much time you spent on the whole project, and how much of that it was just designing the box because it looks fantastic.
Um, for the 3D drawing, it took me on average about maybe about 3 to 4 hours a day, and I was drawing every day for maybe about 2 weeks to get one design out. So
Wow.
Wow.
Max Ray took me about 2 weeks. Jake 2 weeks as well. Ace was a bit more difficult because the helmet is a bit more organic. It took me about a month, and then Awesome Auger took me about maybe a week and a half.
So this
And
is literally a labor of love, then.
yeah, I just remember telling myself, I want to get this done. I want to have this. I must have this, and I just never gave up.
Awesome. So did you actually finish? Because I'm looking at the Awesome Augur figure. Is it just a render, or and it also, I think, has the power pack even, does it, right?
Uh, yes, unfortunately, I couldn't think of a way to make the power pack work. So basically, all the renders you see, they are actually 3D solid drawings. So you can actually just print them out as and when as you want. But definitely, they are not ready for print yet because the the magnet function was something I thought of later, and I need to adjust the tolerances to make them just fit in nicely. But yeah, basically they are already ready to go products.
Awesome. So just to clarify, the main shaft, inside that allows things to rotate, that's not a function, because that would be too meticulous, too difficult to model, right?
Correct. And with the materials I'm using resin, I'm using resin to print them out, and it's a bit fragile. You get a lot of details from resin printing, but I don't think they can take much stress. So, and yeah, if I were to do it like the actual product where they are in house and you stick them together, I don't think it's gonna look as good.
Gotcha.
So this is one of those definitely novelty toys that definitely not made to be handed over to your kid to be played with. Like pose it, put it on your desk, don't touch.
Yeah, I initially wanted, just to print out the thing, paint it, and then just put it in a brown box and ship it out if there's anybody who's interested in getting one. But later on, I thought, hey, it would be good if we have a proper box design and we make it a really collector's items.
Definitely. So you sorry, Nick.
No, you're fine.
Sorry. So can you readjust, like, can you kind of play with them, like, rearrange the elements around the figure, or you would advise, if it got into someone else's hand, not to play too much with them?
You can actually move around, like in my video that I've shown. You can actually, you know, uh, pull them out and then just fix them as and where as you like. But because this is a hand painted item, you may encounter scratches, and definitely please do not drop it. You will break it. Yeah.
Yeah, good to know.
Well, I mean, a lot of toy collectors now are becoming more familiar with 3D printed. Um, let's call it third-party accessories, I guess is the term for it. I know for a fact, for like the Mattel Masters of the Universe Origins, I have bought 3D printed accessories for some of the figures or some display parts. I see it now for GI Joe. Mask has 3D parts, and a lot of people I'm sure are familiar with 3D parts, and they know that now they're not the most durable, material in the world. That they're not made to be played with. It's more of for an adult as an adult, piece that just add on to a figure for display, and don't handle that much. So I mean that's the way I kind of look at 3D printing, and a lot of people I know view it the same way.
Yep, there's actually other forms of 3D printing like FDM printing. They use the filaments. That material would be a lot more durable. There's even an ABS-like material out there, but you don't get as much details from resin printing. And definitely there's a lot more processing to make it look better. So I do have limited time, so I figured, yeah, just resin printing would work best for my situation.
And in the video, you show two versions. I'm looking at the video where you have the original Max Ray, a Lego minifig, and then two different sizes of a Max Ray figure. Was one of them an experiment, and you finalized the smaller one, or how did you pick and choose which one would be the final one to kind of put in the box?
Actually wanted to go with the bigger one. The bigger one will scale up at 500%. It's 5 times of a Lego size, but it's pretty heavy, and it simply takes a very long time to print. It takes 3 times more to churn it out, and I figured that. I mean, it looks cute. It looks adorable as well, but it's simply just too big for my liking. So, and Lego size is a bit too fragile, and I figured out, double the size would just look great. Yeah, and I decided to go for double size, 200%.
I'm glad you did that because if you would have gone with the original 1-to-1 scale with Lego figures, I know that a lot of the details wouldn't probably come out as nice because of the way the 3D lines, how it prints, and all that. Every time I've seen smaller 3D printed stuff, it doesn't look as good. When you go larger, the lines are not as noticeable, and it just looks a lot cleaner.
Yep,
Yeah.
and they're less fragile as well.
Were you inspired by some other projects of Lego custom Lego designs online for Centurions themes? Because I think even Lego has this, I don't know what's it called, this kind of Kickstarter-ish page where you can pitch designs, and if it's really popular then they actually make it. And there was an unsuccessfully submitted Sky Vault plus the main three figures set. So did you see any of these to when you were looking for inspiration, or did you even look at these?
When I had the inspiration, I actually went online and searched to see if it has been done before, and I saw the Sky Vault and the figures that was made. But to be honest, I thought that the Sky Vault looks good, but the rest of the Centurions armor, all this, they could be more. Uh, you can actually do them closer to the real design, to the actual design. So that's why I still decided to proceed with my project.
Now, how'd you come up with the idea for magnets for securing the connections of the weapon systems?
Good point.
Um, I initially it was a pack design. You just push them in, and I thought that I actually broke a few of them while pulling up. The tolerances was just not there. After painting, it's pretty hard to, if the paint on it adds a little bit of thickness, it's pretty hard to gauge um, how big or small the part should be. And I thought that, with a pack design, with a friction fit, definitely you get scratches all over, and it doesn't add to the appeal where it's more like the actual cartoon where you have parts really just sticking together. They look clean. You don't see packs going into their bodies as well.
Mm-hmm. Right. Definitely looks cleaner. And, if it were actually designed as a toy, of course, maybe friction lock would be, more practical, but it would make the figure wear out, sooner. And this is a collectible. So it's, the purpose is actually different.
Yeah, and I was thinking how on earth, would, let's say Centurions is a real thing. How would they actually fit in the suit? And I figured they might simply use some sort of magnetic technology as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So you said magnet and what kind of technology?
Sorry?
Sorry, you said magnet and what other kind of technology?
Oh, I was thinking of if Centurions was real, how would they actually make the whole thing work? So I figure out they may use magnets or some sort of magnetic technology or some way to imagine if you are a live person, I don't think there's any space on your bodies for packs to go in as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I figured if I'm um if Centurions was real, I figured that's how they would make it work using
Right.
magnets. Yeah.
That's a really really good point. One question then that I was wondering about, Jerrick, did you encounter any difficulties or any dead ends during the design and manufacturing process, or did you have to like you mentioned, the size? Did you have to reconsider some aspects, or were there any things that were limitations, but you eventually overcame them, or limitations that you weren't able to overcome, but you wanted to?
Um, yeah, to be honest, the hardest part was actually the helmets because uh, they're round, they're curved, and I don't really I'm not really good at drawing curve areas or organic shapes. So that was the hardest part where I had to, draw and go on YouTube, search for tutorials, and come back again, give it a try, and then just back and forth, back and forth. So that took me a lot of time. In fact, the when I say it took maybe about 2 weeks to come up with a design, the first week you actually go to just drawing out the helmet and making sure that everything looks the way it's supposed to be.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the
So
hardest part.
I would have figured the hardest part was coming up with the right mustache to put on Max Ray.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I initially didn't want to have. So my design, there's actually two faces on the head. Initially, it was just the Lego, the two dots and the smile thingy, and there's a couple of group members that contacted me directly. They simply just couldn't wait to have the item, and I had a few inputs from them as well.
Well, I mean, Max Ray has been known to be based upon the image of Tom Selleck. And when we think of Tom Selleck, we think of the mustache. That's his trademark look. So if you're going to do a Max Ray figure, you have to have the mustache. It's to me, that's a necessity. That needs to be on there.
Yeah, there's actually a mustache now, but I don't think it's similar to Tom Selleck. But yeah, you see that I added in a mustache.
Well, Tom Selleck has a very unique mustache anyway, so that like when he dies, that mustache should be put in the Smithsonian Museum or something like that. So to copy it, I can imagine it would be tricky.
Yeah, national heritage.
Exactly.
Yeah, Jerrick, are you planning on actually doing the entire line, or I know it's really intensive, but do you have any plans for the future for that?
Definitely, I'm doing all the 5 main figures. I have them, so I can use them as a reference. So
Wait,
Max,
you have John Thunder and what's his name, Rex Charger?
no, I meant Doc Terror and Hacker.
Oh, okay.
Because I was about to say, if you're doing Rex Charger, if you ever come to that point, and when it comes time to paint the figure, you got to go with glow in the dark paint. You know what I mean? To give tribute to Kenner's design on that.
Yeah, actually, my plan is I'll share a bit of my plan with you. I'm doing. I have done Max, Jake, Ace. I'm gonna do Doc Terror and Hacker next. I'm gonna do the drone, Stratford Zone, and the Traumatizer. These two as
Wow.
well. And
Wow.
the weapon sets, definitely once I get my hand on this, I have a reference. I can actually it's a lot faster for me to churn them out, and I'm pretty confident with John Thunder. Rex Charger is the one that I can't get any clear and good reference pictures out there. It might take a while, but I'm actually looking into Glow in the Dark resin or paint a couple of days ago. So he should happen. It should happen.
Wow, that's awesome. If you said, "Oh yeah, I have both John and Rex on my shelf here, so I'm going to base these my custom figures on them," the whole Facebook group would have exploded. It's like, where did this guy get them? But even if you do your customs, that's like fantastic. Like, you know.
When you
Yeah,
said you need reference material, do you mean you need better pictures of like the figures or the animation style?
I
The
need
animation model.
everything. I just need clearer pictures. I need to see how there's intricate carvings on the weapon designs, so-called carvings. Yeah, I need to reference that. I try to make them as accurate to the actual toy or cartoon as possible. So I would love to have these details.
Yeah, the weapon systems are going to be a bit of a challenge. The figures, we all know a few people that own some of the test shots, so we can get you, nice high res pictures of the figures. But the weapon systems, I don't know anyone that has a complete test shot or prototype of any way of a complete weapon system. I know someone that might have a missile or part of the backpack or something like that, but I don't know anyone that has one complete. So getting shot,
Yeah,
what I mean. For them two guys, yeah, though I can see those weapon systems are going to be a little challenging.
correct. For example, like Awesome Manga, I couldn't get much pictures about it. I could just look at the catalog pictures and try and think of the styling that they would have used for the very small little accessories. But I'm quite happy with how it turned out. I mean, it looks pretty legit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At least on the art that you shared, it definitely looks really cool. So I wonder how it looks printed. So definitely looking forward to seeing that.
yeah, and definitely I'll be printing them out. I'll be doing some test prints, but once I'm done with my batch of Max Rays, I'll start on printing them.
So my question to you is, now let's say what other main lines do you collect? What are your favorite other lines like for toys that you collect?
I actually quite like Power Rangers. I have a few of the Bandai Legacy reissues.
Hmm.
I collect video games, retro games, like Nintendo others. I, that's about it. I don't have a really big collection now. Oh, I'm a fan of Mosquito as well. It's Right Armor. It's an animation from Japan. It's similar to how Centurions work, I think, but this I don't know if you're familiar with Mosquito, where there's a guy riding a motorbike and it just turns into armor for him.
Oh, I haven't really heard of it, but what if you share some pictures, maybe I will recognize it. The reason I'm asking is because for some of these figures, I think they might have done it for Power Rangers as well. I know that for the Transformers fandom, it's a big thing, like these redecos, these repaints. Like for example, for even they did just for different characters or convention exclusives. So the reason I'm forwarding the question with this is that now that you have these toys, would you be able to print them and stylize? Like, let's say you do a forest camouflage for Jake Rockwell, or an ice type camouflage, or a stealth camouflage for Max Ray. So you just have to print it with different materials, or would you have to just hand paint it with different colors, and you would be able to do that too?
I will be able to pin them. Yeah, I guess it's just a pin work, different pin scheme. Have Max in all black with a bit of different shades of black, and it should look pretty stealthy. And
Hmm.
camouflage, well, I believe it can be done as well. You just need to get a correct painting technique or a paint design, whether it's a tiger stripe camo or is it a digital camo. You just have to get all the details there, and I should be able. I should be able to start painting them and painting them.
Wow, this
Yeah.
is super exciting, isn't it, Nick? This is like super exciting now.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean that it really is, and I look forward to seeing your designs and how they look of Ace McCloud and Jake Rockwell, and then Doc Terror and Hacker and all that down the road. I really do look forward to seeing those. But like the Max Ray, I can't say nothing bad about it. It's an amazing looking figure.
You already said, don't be such an angel. You already said that you're missing the mustache, so don't
Okay,
lie to
well, all
Jerrick's
right, man.
face.
The mustache, I mean, but hey, I could get my own little paint and add that on there, I guess.
Imagine, getting a copy and then you're like, I'm gonna just grab some black paint from the shed and I'm gonna paint some black mustache on it. And everybody who comes to your house are like, I know that's a Centurions figure, but why does it look like Hitler?
Get a nice good Sharpie done, I guess.
Jerrick, there's the inevitable question that I think a lot of people listening to this would ask you. Are you planning on making extra copies, maybe for sale or for, within the fandom or something like that?
Uh, yeah, I'll be making them in limited runs, but if the response is really that great, I may just go with a factory production for the subsequent figures. But definitely they have an MOQ, and we'll just see how it goes. But definitely I'll be selling them. Just that I can't make them fast enough, so it'll be a few pieces each week until I fulfill the orders.
So you said you. Oh, by the way, that's great news. Did you actually? Sorry, I might have misunderstood you. You said that you work in toy production, or just toy retail, or actually toy design.
Oh, I worked in retail previously.
Oh, gotcha. Because these, I would say these third party, because now this is a bona fide, third party figure. So essentially, it's based on something, but it's not a copy. It's not not a ripoff of something. Do you plan to change the label so that it doesn't say Centurions to avoid maybe a copyright issues? Or to just have a same length word but maybe with it would century man or something, something like that. Did you consider that?
Yeah, if it's a custom, so-called handmade custom like what I'm doing now, and if it's in so small quantities, I believe I can still get away with the wording. After all, it's not something that's mass production. But if we are looking at doing them on a larger scale in future, I have to work around with the labeling and all this. There's no way I can get away with having a Centurions wording on all the trademarks there. But I believe we can always think out of the box. Maybe I'll just, give you a file. You can just print out your own logo and stick them on.
Oh, right.
Well,
Yeah.
there's one way you can look at this, that if you were to use the original Centurions logo, font, everything, and someone does send you a letter for cease and desist, we might finally find out who owns the toy license for Centurions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jarek, you might end up in jail and for the
Oh,
rest of your
no.
life, but we'll finally find out who owns the Centurion's license.
Okay, let me get everything settled and I'll do that ultimate sacrifice for you guys.
I'm sure he'll be fine with international copyright law. I mean, here's a loophole. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
I figure it's been years and we are not getting anything out at all. So I think it should be safe for now.
No, I think you're going to be safe, and from what I gathered, it's not like you're planning on doing a huge mass-produced toy line of this, where it's going to be available at Walmart, Target, and Amazon. You're probably looking at a small, very small handful of these to be made. So yeah, it's safe to say you're under the radar on the major toy company or whoever owns the license.
Look,
Yeah.
sorry, Jared, go ahead.
I mean, I believe it's more like by a collector for a collector now, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, that's the way I would view it.
Yeah, and you know what? I would definitely, once you get to the point where the first ready to be sold, custom is ready, you might actually get in touch with Alton, because he's wonderful. I'm sure he would be super helpful and tell you, some suggestions, because if he sees how great this is, he might be like, you know what, you could actually reach out to Hasbro.
Did you
I'm
get cut off?
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay. So I was just saying that you might reach out to Alton and because he's a really important person at Mattel. It's not Kenner, it's not Hasbro, but it's their arch rival, and he might give you some pointers. It's like, hey, you might pitch this actually to Hasbro, and if they like it, they might even make it official. You never know, but that might happen. You never know.
Yep, I could. I mean, I can get in touch with Alton. Uh, yeah, and ask for some pointers. Definitely.
So yeah, because yeah, I think they are, like Nick said, the first ever third party Centurions toys. So why keep it from the nice folks who are waiting to throw money at you?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I agree with that.
So let me ask a kind of a maybe silly question here. Have you ever thought about like looking at it, like some of the original stuff, and be like, okay, the traumatizer is extremely hard to find. It was, and it's going for obscene amount of money. Have you ever thought about maybe I'm just gonna make my own version of traumatizer and print those out?
Um, yeah, I mean, traumatizers in the works, but if are you talking about the 1:1
Yeah,
version?
one to one
Yeah.
actual like reproduction of the traumatizer. Maybe change something up on it a little bit here and there, so no one can say you're making a knockoff. But make your own a very close to, or if you want, what I mean. Make your own version of the traumatizer figure.
I can go about doing that, but to me, the appeal is I try to get it as close to the original as possible. So then I'm worried that if I stray a bit from the design, would it still be as well received?
I got you. Well, I mean, that's the thing about 3D printed. You can match every little detail as much as possible. And in my opinion, people who are anti repro production, it's 3D printed. I mean, it's very obvious to tell when something's 3D printed. So I personally, I think you'd be, I mean, I wouldn't have any objections of seeing a 3D printed exact replica of a traumatizer, because then I could finally army build a whole shelf of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
but
and you're gonna piss off all the people who now are paying $3,000 for a traumatizer.
yeah, that I thought of that actually as well. I will be pissed.
Wait, did you buy a traumatizer already for $3,000?
No, I got mine maybe about 3-4 years back. I paid just over 100 US. It's a set of three
Wow,
actually. I had a traumatizer, a drone, and an incomplete drone. So I think it's pretty worth it.
interesting.
Yeah.
So, Jarek, are you a person who is more motivated when it comes to Centurions? For maybe the far future or not the immediate future, to designing the toys that actually existed, or are you also excited about designing toys like some of the drones that never made it to production? Like, if you remember, Nick, what's the name of the groundborgs, the still six-wheeled little kind of like R2D2 type droids that had missile launchers on them?
I cannot think of the name of those robots offhand.
Groundborgs, they were called
I think that's what
groundborgs.
they were actually, but yeah, I would love to see some of those. And and that always, as an adult collector, I always wish to myself that, man, I really wish Kenner would have produced those. But to my understanding, those were designed by Ruby Spears, not Kenner. Ruby Spears, from what I remember reading, came up with those for just an army of Doc Terror to use. But so I can understand why Kenner never did it, but I would love to see it. I would love to see someone tackle that project and make those.
Yeah, so would you be are you also interested in doing maybe some of those where it would be like, you would design it based off the cartoon but without any physical toy to mimic, or that's not really on your scope?
Um. Oh, I'm open to it. I'm actually looking at the communicator as well.
When
Uh,
you say communicator, are you talking one to one, so it would fit an adult male's wrist, or are you
yeah,
talking about like a miniature prop?
the one that goes on to the actual toys wrist. I
That
think
would
that
be
would be a
Oh,
pretty
interesting.
cool add-on.
yeah, yeah, and you know what? If you really go far with this, why not do the civilian clothed Centurions? Where like you would add a little scarf for Ace, you know, or something like that.
Um, that would be a bit more difficult because it's too organic for me.
Right.
But yeah, but I could just simply improve on my skills, and we will never know what comes out next.
Mhm,
But
mhm, mhm.
uh, everything is possible. I just have to learn how to do them.
I'd be happy to see a shadow, that I can
And
display next to, Jake.
yep, Shadow, Crystal King.
Crystal.
Yeah, Lucy. I think I'm gonna have difficulty with that, but Shadow maybe.
Well, here's a crazy idea. You can find a toy of a German. Shadow was he a German Shepherd?
I think either a German Shepherd or a Malamute.
So I can't remember, but say if he was a shepherd, you can easily find a toy of a shepherd.
Wait, no, he
Uh,
was a husky. He was a
Husky,
husky.
yeah, he was a
Yeah,
husky. You can find a toy of a husky, and then like think about it, like, all right, if this is very commonly available for people, just I'm gonna design his harness for him, and then you could just add the harness and buy the figure yourself. Buy that husky toy on your own, and then just buy the harness to attach to him.
yeah, that's actually a good idea. I bet the manufacturer of the Husky will be like, why are they selling so much all of a sudden?
Yeah,
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 but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's lesser work for me, and why not?
I
Mhm.
I keep telling myself, and Toys R Us in the United States used to have a wonderful selection of small little animals in various scales and scale sizes. And I think Target does too, but I always forget to keep going in there and looking for a husky. Whether if it needs to be painted or not, but try to find a husky that's close to the scale Centurions so I could display one next to Jake Rockwell. But that's a little project I keep telling myself to do, and I always forget to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's really hard to find a toy model of a Husky. Yeah, it is possible as well.
Derek, I'm going to address the elephant in the room. So the main special project. Have you considered a Sky Vault, you know, play set, so to say, to go with your figures down the road?
Uh, yes, but I could only get a single view of Skyward.
Oh,
But I, yeah, I mean, according to my skill, it's not going to be too big, or it can be um, maybe the size of a shoebox, something like that. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things I actually thought about. Like I don't have to do the entire skyboard. I can actually do the chamber where we have those mechanisms coming out with all the parts and they beam them down.
oh,
I think
wow.
that
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I think that would be a great it would be a great start. And from there maybe I can do an add on or sell them in modules. I come up with um, if you want you can have the entire skyboard. If not, you can just buy the beam chamber.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. That would be fantastic.
here's
Sorry.
on that idea. I want to throw this crazy idea out. How familiar are either one of you with the '90s Playmates Star Trek: The Next Generation toy line? Are you guys familiar with that toy line at all in any way?
Not really, but they also probably had a beam chamber, right, or
That's what
something
I'm gonna
like that.
get at. They had a transporter toy made, a playset of the transporter, and it worked off of mirrors and lights where you could stick the figure in there, and there was like, if I remember correctly, like a churn table that the light would flash, and you can have it churn, and the figure would be disappear, and it would make it look like an empty playset, an empty transporter pad. So if you think about it, you could put a Centurion on there, have the little light effect on there, spin the wheel, and then when the light comes back on, you have the Centurion with his weapon system fully attached.
I think it's a bit too ambitious, but you
You know
can.
what? I'm just throwing that out there as wouldn't that be a funny accessory to see, though? You
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean?
Jarek, why not put in some holograms and some LEDs, and why not a fully functioning Skyvault computer, where the guys would pop up on the screen? How about that?
Yeah, I actually saw in a mass group they had it's quite a cool item as well. They have the computer there, and basically the holes are all see through, and you just put an iPhone in the at the back, and you have all the the working screens and buttons and whatnot.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's the possibility is endless. There's yeah, why not? We can get almost everything done if we really put our minds to it.
Yeah, yeah, and I think I even saw one, for Transformers, their main computer on their Arc ship,
Teletron One.
Teletran One. Yeah,
Yeah,
so there was I think a third party design where basically it included that computer, and you could slide in a tablet, I think, because it was for Transformers scale, and it would it could display like different things, and so yeah, with the display you can play around with adding an iPhone or a tablet, and then kind of hack it a bit.
yeah. I believe it's possible. I mean, there are people who have done it with like what you mentioned, the Chen one, and from what I've seen, the Mars Command Center, and yeah, why not? It's a matter of just getting the time to actually study how to make it all fit in place.
Right, right, right. Yeah. So do you plan on making time, or how does the COVID situation in Singapore look? Do you think you'll have enough time to continue the project?
We are now back to work, and I have a baby girl, so it's going to be a bit of challenge. My wife is at work as well, and when I come home, I have to babysit, and I've got a much more limited time now. But definitely, I'll be carrying on with the toy line. I mean, I do want to finish my own collection as well, so I will be going on with it. Just that it takes a longer time to maybe produce them and paint them up.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, that would be really interesting. One kind of footnote type question, because I think some fans might be interested in it. Actually, reproducing. So now we spoke about your toy line. When it comes to, do you have any plans on recreating the original toys that you were not able to buy, and the original play sets, or that kind of reproduction is either not really physically that easy, or it's not something that you want to do?
It's basically not that easy to draw them out to just make them, and I believe that would be an outright copy of. Uh, yeah, it's not something I would like to do outright copy of it.
Hmm.
But um, if I come up with my own similar design or my own rendition of it, I think it's not as appealing as well. So I might just save up and just spend a bit more for the weapon systems and whatnot, rather than do a copy of them.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you meant by saving up. This will make you millions of dollars. You don't need to save up. You just need to mass produce these.
No, I'm definitely going to make them in very small batches just for our group. That's about it.
Okay,
I yeah.
then you should number them, so that make the value go up even more.
Uh, yeah, that's a good thought. Maybe I'll just yeah, one of how many that kind of thing. I could yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but be careful. It might pop up on AliExpress, because they like to copy, bootleg some of the toys. So you even, I think, had a picture of a bootleg Centurions type toy. So from Korea. So you just be careful not to have someone copy it and sell it on Alibaba.
Hey, when
Um,
it's an Alibaba, then you know your work is good if someone's going to copy
Yeah.
it. So
yeah, I mean, there was this concern then that people are gonna do something similar, or they're gonna just buy one piece of mine and just recast or do a copy of them. There is this possibility, but I guess there's nothing much I can do to stop them. Uh, but I would definitely appreciate if the buyers can just come direct to me. They could have churn out 1,000 million pieces of them and sell them for a really really low price. But I mean, if that really happens, it is still nice. Like what Nick mentioned, that your design, your product is good enough for someone to want to copy and sell it. It's kind of a compliment. Just that my wallet's not going to be too happy about it, but we'll see how it goes.
since we're kind of close on that topic here, so you said you were thinking about producing these in a small batch of numbers. Do you have a price point in mind of what you're going to be asking for on these?
Price point, I'm pretty close to getting a final price. It should be less than 100 USD. Most probably between 80 to 100 range
Okay.
for one of these.
And then, which I personally think for a figure of that size, that is basically homemade, handmade, $80 to 100 is reasonable with all the accessories and we're including the package in that price point or no?
The packaging.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's included. I might just sell it for 80 and shipping is not included kind of thing. Um, yeah, but I want to make it as affordable for everyone uh, without taking too much of my time as well.
Let's put it this way. Over here in the United States, a deluxe scale transformer is $20. A Marvel Legend figure is $20. A Power Ranger Lightning figure, I believe that's what they're calling them, is $20. For 80 to 100 for like I said, homemade Centurion figure like you've shown us, to me that's a fair price. And most Centurion fans are already accustomed to kind of dishing out money for Centurion product. So I don't really see you having much of a problem at that price point. Shipping from Singapore to whatever country, I don't know. That might be a little bit of a different story. I know shipping rates here in the United States have gone ridiculously overpriced, but I guess we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, we got to make a trip to the post office to check on the actual shipping rates. But as of now, I did I weigh up one of my prototypes the other day, including packaging. They should not go above 1 kg. Maybe it's in the range of 700 to 800 grams. Shipping should be affordable as well.
So
And
that's
Yeah.
good
and
to know.
also to add to Nick's argument with the price, I think I haven't checked it recently because I thank God whatever I wanted to buy, nowadays I bought it before the coronavirus hit and people started revving up the prices.
See
But
previous episode for more details.
exactly, thank you. And so basically, I think maybe even a basic figure with the full set of a full assault weapon system might even go for 80 70 $80. I don't know, Nick, if you have any info on that. So
80
basically they would
to
match.
100, depending on the
Yeah,
condition, and if it's complete. Any of the main three Centurions with a complete weapon system, their default weapon system is going from 80 to 100. So to get a Centurion figure like that, but in a Lego-ish, to avoid copyright
custom.
issues,
Yeah.
to a custom style, brickish style format, I think it's fair personally. I think that's a fair price, considering the fact that it's all homemade by hand. It's to me it's a fair price.
Yep. I mean, I did a bit of study. So, um, if you're getting STL files to print or 3D files to print, on average, just a file will cost you about 20 to 25 US. And resin costs, the time that I put into post process them, to send them down, to print them. Uh, yeah, I believe that's the lowest I would be able to go without sacrificing too much.
Well, considering how much people charge for 3D, or I mean, their homemade 3D parts, I that's fair. You know, what I mean, in my honest opinion, that's very fair. You know,
And
that's
don't forget the custom painting, that's applied
yeah.
to it.
Because even when you buy a lot, like I bought some 3D printed accessories for my Masters of the Universe Classics collection. They weren't painted. You know, what I mean, they were not painted. I had to paint them, and some of those parts were like $20 a piece, and I had to paint them myself.
Yeah, and some of them they're not even finished. You have to do your own sanding.
Yeah, exactly. You're
Right.
offering a complete product ready to go for at that price point. I don't think you're going to have much of a problem.
Yeah, and just to again, because I think every second episode I do this and mention Transformers, but recently, Jerrick, I don't know how familiar you are with Transformers, but a this really big, I don't know, Nick, how tall would Scorponok be? He's a Titan class figure.
Oh, the only Titan class figure I have is Omega, and Omega is about from top of the wings to his toes, about close to 2 feet. So
So
Scorponok is taller than Omega, so I would say Scorponok is definitely close to 2 feet.
so imagine, Jerk, like a 60 centimeter. You have inches or centimeters over there.
We're using centimeters here.
So imagine like a 60 centimeter. Yeah, that's my system. That's my system as well. So a 60 centimeter figure, and it's a big transforming robot into Scorpion into base kind of thing. That probably costs around 100 and I don't know.
160 is the retail price.
60 is the retail. Thank you, is the retail price, and they just released some extra custom printed, third party upgrades to it, like a gun that he doesn't have, or some fillers in his body. Some alternative legs that he can pose better in his Scorpion mode, and they split that into two groups, and it's not even a big bunch of accessories. But if you combine those two separate sets, the upgrade kit, which again only features a few guns to it and maybe a few extra small tidbits, is $80. So basically, it's more than half of the original figure, just to polish it and make it a bit more posable and customizable. But so that's why I'm saying, if you get the actual Centurions figure for $80, that's in American collector culture, that's not a really crazy price.
Yeah. Mm, uh, yeah, I believe. I mean, I yeah, I don't think it's overpriced. And basically, when I first started doing them, I was keeping track of my costs, my production costs, my time. If I were to go to work, how much would I get for that time spent for instead of staying at home and churning out toys. But I believe I'm trying to value add to it. That's why I had the box. I had two faces on the figure, and I even came up with the magnetic joints.
Nice, yeah. So
You know,
would you actually retire from your day job if this business took off?
um, not really. I'm getting quite a good pay now, and no, this is more of personal satisfaction. The fact that
Oh,
I
gotcha.
managed to build something from scratch and I share it with everybody else who's into this as well.
Imagine if you told your wife, honey, I just got this really great idea. I'm gonna retire from my day job and build, action figures at home.
My wife don't really understand toys. I mean, we've been dating for a couple of years when I used to have my toy shop, and she has no interest in it whatsoever. So it's kind of a good thing that she don't get involved. Otherwise, she'll be, why are you hiding in your small little workshop every day, doing whatever it is that you're doing? And yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, she does not bother me on all this, but I don't think it's really sensible for me to go into this full time.
Right, but does she appreciate it, or does she see the craftsmanship in it, or she's just like, oh, it's just a toy?
I showed her Max Ray the other day, and the response was, cute. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that's kind of like what my wife would say.
Yeah, but she's, sorry, she's pretty amazed that I managed to. You mean this was from the computer that you were sitting in for the past month? I said, yeah, that was what I have been doing. She's pretty amazed by the technology now, but I think that's about it. She will,
Wow.
yeah, go deeper.
So if your daughter could speak, what would she say? Did you show the figure to your daughter?
Yeah, she's 1 year old now, so I mean, I did show her. She just wanted to grab it and stuff it in her mouth.
And you're like, no, that's too expensive for that.
Yeah, it's more of safety, but yeah, but I was thinking, maybe in future I can do some really giant ones for her to play with.
You know what? Actually, I don't know if this is possible, Jerrick, to produce, but maybe a Centurions, like plushie or something, just like a not as detailed as a teddy bear, just like made from one piece and just for kids and adults as well, that your daughter could enjoy.
Yeah, plushies. I mean, to be honest, everything is possible now with manufacturing. You just have to find the right connection. You have the right people. It is possible. Like I mentioned right from the start, I'm actually thinking of going into apparel as well. So I have a couple of pictures that I might share with you later on. My first design for Max, Jake, and Max, Jake, and Ace.
Ace, yeah. May I ask you a friendly favor? Would it be possible, if it's okay for you, to maybe have a couple of extra of exclusive images that we could basically use as like the cover image for the podcast, so that people would be like, what is that, and just click on it. If you want to reveal it yourself, that's it's your decision. But would it be possible to maybe have one or two exclusive images that we could maybe share?
I don't have anything. I mean, basically, what I've rented, it's all that's out there. But I figured I could just put all three together and do up.
If you don't mind, that would be super awesome. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you.
I've just kind of been pondering here on the whole plushie idea, because to me that sounds like something I would see on. I would think someone on Etsy would do. If you were going to do the weapon systems, Velcro.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's a good idea. That's a great idea, man.
Plush weapon system add-ons and just attaches by Velcro or snaps.
So guys, imagine the Centurions fandom discussion in a few years. They're like, okay, I collect Centurions too, and the other guy asks, okay, but which one? The original one, the Lego impression, or the Velcro plushie one?
Yeah, it's a really fun idea. I think the plushie might sell even better than what I'm doing now.
I'm just thinking of the old wrestling plushie figures. I don't know if you guys ever saw those, or if you're familiar with some. The WWF by I think it was LJN. It was it was the image printed on fabric, cut out, sewn together, and then stuffed. You know what I mean? And it was a plushie. I'm just thinking
Yep.
of a Centurion just like that, but then with like Velcro parts of Velcro on the arm and back, where you could snap on a weapon system.
Yeah, I do remember seeing the wrestling plushies, and yeah, it's quite a cute idea. Yeah, it is a good idea, especially with the Velcro. I quite like that as well.
When this episode airs, someone's going to be sitting down with a pen and paper writing all these ideas. They're going to beat us to all of them. You know,
Yeah. Possibly from AliExpress. It's like,
exactly.
they're doing that. Huh?
So I think you should release this podcast maybe in 5 years' time.
You just edit it out right now. This whole conversation as the plus.
or change your voice to some some of those like anonymous witnesses. It's like no, I don't know what you're talking about. One of those guys. It's like just people to not know who you are.
Or we could just beep out hey Jerry, I think it'd be good to have a series of beep.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. Jerrick, we really want to be respectful with your time. I guess we're kind of nearing the end of the episode. I would have two more questions, and Nick, think of meanwhile if you have any extra questions. One thing I would like to ask, maybe it's a personal type question, is that if you're doing these custom toys, then basically, would it be if someone theoretically ordered one from you, would he be or she able to, or would they be able to have them maybe ask something custom, since you would have to paint the figures anyway? So let's say if someone said, "Yeah, could you paint my my ace a really dark blue or maybe red or something like that, or maybe like a stealth black," since you were already like painting them manually, would that be an option, or you don't want to do that right now?
Someone has actually requested that already, and I have actually come up with color just for that person. So it is possible, just that if it's just a color change, why not? But if there's something more complicated, like I want a carbon fiber print on it, then it's pretty off my range now. But simple color changes, it is possible.
Right, because I'm sure you've seen those kind of toys where it's like it says battle damage or something. It's really popular for like miniature gaming, like Warhammer 4000. It's where you like basically do like this like not rusty, but it's called like dry brushing, and you dry brush silver on it, and it gives it a metallic sheen. Did you consider that maybe as a maybe a surcharge, like maybe add $5 for a metallic finish or something like that?
No, I figured that you'll be more or less in the same range. I mean, I have to pin them anyway, so it's just an additional couple of brush strokes here and there if you want them to look more worn out.
Yeah,
And,
because it would be interesting to see like like have a bit of like chipped metal on it. I'm just wondering how that would look like. It's originally, I think Alton also pitched that like it would be interesting to see a custom where it's it feels like it's like battle damaged or something.
I just want to chime in on that actually, because if you're going to do battle damage, and these are inspired from Kenner toys, you're going to have to do battle damage stickers. That's the Kenner way. Kenner used to, they re-released the X-Wing fighter and the TIE fighter and just added battle damage stickers. So, you're going to have to do stickers to, honor Kenner.
These are not Kenner toys. These are Jerrick toys. Don't give the guy more work to do.
I'm just joking on that. I'm sorry. I just, it's that's how Kenner was back in the day. That's why I'm just tossing that out there as a joke.
yeah, I mean, I would not redesign them to accommodate the battle damage look, but with a bit of paint application, I think they can look a bit worn out, a bit damaged. Yeah.
Even the person who buys it, if they want to do bullet worn out damage or or metal chipping, silver Sharpie. You know what I mean? You could touch it up. You know, it could be customized very easily.
Nick, you're a monster, and I have to put you back to your cage because you have these crazy ideas, and if Jerrick gets inspiration from those, I think this project is over right now.
Yeah,
So
Actually, here's my question on your manufacturing on that. Are you doing this in a gray, 3D printed resin, or is this going to be like a green base with the black painted on there, and then the head printed in yellow? And you follow what I'm saying, or is this just going to be all printed in one color and then painted?
For now, I had previously I had a bit of green, a bit of gray lying around. So I used what I have. The color shouldn't matter because before painting them, I do prime them. They'll end up all white, and then I add the colors on.
Okay, so you're going full bore, you know what I mean, full painting. It's not, you know, like when you buy, like the original Max Ray figure was casted in green plastic, and then the black was added on. You're just going to do a full paint work on it then, okay.
Yeah, it's a full paint work. It's a bit time consuming, but by full painting them, I get consistency all around. You know how jagged is now? You have some parts that's painted and some parts is like a darker yellow and light yellow.
Yeah, the plastic fades over the years. Yeah,
correct. And I'm not too familiar with resin painting. I don't think the colors will fade, but I'm pretty sure painting will make them look a lot nicer.
See, look at that. He's thinking long term already. You know, he's like, well, how are these going to look in 20 years? Are they going to be? I don't want them faded and being like how they are with the current Centurions. You know, I want them to be uniformly matched. So paint them.
He's a smart guy, you know. He's already, like, Jerrick's already thinking, you know, I'm going to one day have my daughter inherit this business, so I have to teach her early how to 3D print.
It's more of I just really want it to be a collectible item. So yeah, I'm just trying to pull out all the guns and just, you know, make them the best way that I know how to.
Mm-hmm. And Jerrick, so how do you see the timeline right now? Like right now, it's, you know, October 2020 just started. What's the timeline for the, you know, for the process? When do you think, if fans are interested in the limited run figures that you mentioned, when would they be able to, you know, order? Because, you know, one thing that I think we should definitely highlight here for people who want to buy it, it's I'm sure you'll have a platform for it. So it's not necessarily useful to spam you with messages like some fans already, like, you know, asked you. So when are you going to maybe put up a website or a Facebook page for it, or what are your plans on, you know, taking it from now to, you know, shipping the first batch of custom toys to the fans?
I'm actually doing a very small batch of 10 pieces now. And most probably, I should be able to start my orders in a couple of days' time. And I haven't put much thought into the website and all this. Maybe if it's not too much of an inconvenience, I'll just post it in our group, and they can just then message me on Messenger on their requests or their orders.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
So does that mean that the first 10 figures are already, like, you have buyers for them, or you are making 10 and they're still up for grabs if someone listens to this and writes to you immediately?
They are up for grabs. The ones that's already sold are actually reserved. So it's going to be a small batch of 10 now. Then in the subsequent weeks, maybe every week I can release maybe 3 to 5. We just have to see how the time works out for me.
So you mean 10 of each, or 10 which would be a combination of the 3 characters?
Oh no, 10 of each. I'm actually planning to do a maximum of maybe 50 per figure. Yeah, so once I'm done with the 50, I'll just move on to the next one. Or, you know, if I don't sell 50, I'll just maybe wait like 2 or 3 months and then I'll just move forward.
What if I'm almost 100% sure that fans would grab them? So what if all of them, like all the 10 sell out, and maybe even the 50 sell out, will you keep doing them even once you want to move on to the new figures? Or will this be like a really limited run now, so fans should really, grab them now if they want to have them?
They are gonna be really limited now. The only way I can think of is, when I've completed everything, I have no idea how long that would take me. And then I may consider going back again to reproducing the earlier ones. Or it can be that, if the demand is so overwhelming, which I hope will be, we can actually look at mass production for the next couple of releases, and basically we'll just take pre-orders first, and then we will just, make sure everybody has them. But for now, given my situation, it's definitely going to be limited. Initially, I thought of 20 pieces only, but I think that's not going to be enough. So,
Well, after you sharing these really fantastic plans, I think definitely there'll be a really big need. Like think of like someone just bought that John Thunder prototype figure lot for like, what was that, 3, 4 thousand, $5,000. So I'm sure there are people out there to want to buy them. Maybe, and you can say, we can cut this question out, in editing if you don't want to share this. But I'm curious. Let's say you make this first batch of figures, and then you move on to the next, and interest just builds up, and you're going to redo the whole three basic figures later, maybe mass producing, maybe custom doing them. Are you planning on, if interest is big enough, to revisit these designs, and maybe the second batch of the original characters would be, somewhat upgraded, or you would use different materials, different paints, or how you would prepare this first, 20 or 10 or 50 figures? If you ever redo them, that would be the exact same, and you wouldn't plan to modify them.
I actually did thought about this, and I'm trying to make improvements every now and then. So, if in the event that we decided to go with full scale production, and for collectors who bought the handmade ones, I might just give them the mass produced ones, with obviously will be of more playable materials like ABS or even vinyl or something like that. And I guess I'll just let them know, hey, I have a better version. I'm just gonna give you one for free. Just pay for shipping this month.
Oh wait, sorry. What do you mean? So you have a better version, so you would ship them a better version? You mean, or
No, if I am okay, let's say I have come up with the max rate is definitely going to be handmade for now. So if the response is that good for me to be able to start mass production, I might just reproduce Max in better materials, better finishing, and then I'll just ship them out to previous buyers as well.
so that they would have two, or they would not get the original Max, they would just get the reproduced Max.
For the first 50 buyers, they will get the first Max and the reproduced Max, and then for the subsequent, the newest, the newer orders that come in, they will all just get the new versions.
Wow, talk about an incentive, like if this is one of those, like, TV, direct sales ad. It's like, but wait, there's more. If you order right now and get the first 50, you'll get an extra shipped to you for no cost.
Well, let's
Yeah,
just
but
point out that he
then,
said plans or might. So I don't want anyone to,
yeah, I
think that
think
this is written in stone. This is all, right now it's
better to cut
theoretical.
this out.
So
Yeah, I think you should just cut this out. Otherwise, they'll, hey, where's my new version?
yeah,
of it?
I'm throwing that in as a disclaimer. For your part, So
Yeah.
no one gives you a hard time in the future. So I'm trying to look out for you by making that comment. It's a disclaimer here that this is the proposed idea, but
Nothing in
subject to
this
change.
podcast, is set in stone. Subject, is subject to change. Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely need a bigger quantity to be able to do something on a mass scale, but you'll never know.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
you just have to see how is the response for the first piece.
Now imagine this though. You know how you're familiar with the term scalpers, Jerrick.
Yes, I am.
Imagine if someone would buy a bunch of these figures and then they would show up for like double the price or something. Are you concerned that someone would just resell them for for a crazy high price?
I'll be to, to be honest. There'll be I'm trying to do of something like a limit, so you can only buy a few pieces, and once unless you have a very good reason to buy again. You show me pictures that your piece is all shattered on the ground or something. Otherwise, you only have one chance at buying them, and it's gonna be in limited quantities. So you feel free to sell them. You may get maybe a couple of hundreds for them, but that's about it.
Well,
You
if
won't be able to get them again.
if what Yuri says is does happen, then you should probably raise your prices and you can make more money then because people are going to be willing to pay it. So
I won't be raising my prices, but I might just sell them secretly on eBay.
I got you.
And then whoever messages you would just get a question back. It's like, hey, I would like to buy your Lego Max Wraith figure, and you just write back. It's like, give me a good reason to sell it to you.
I'm just kind of laughing at that term because it's email based store and if you were lucky enough to buy directly from them before they had a cease and desist order to shut down, there was a store that sold knockoff Lego figures, and now if you registered, they will email you and pretty much tell you, hey, store's back up and running. This is the new inventory. It's like a secret link store. So, and they're like off of Lego figures. So when you say it's secret, I just kind of laugh and think about that in my head there for a moment.
Yeah, but I don't think we will come to that situation. Hopefully,
Right.
I definitely do not want to get shut down, and I don't want this group to be indicated as well. So, um, yeah, that's why the low production run in the first place. We keep it small. Uh, yeah, hopefully, you know, everything's going to just go smoothly.
I mean, you just have to wait and see how it goes. You post it and see how they sell. It's I don't think you have to worry about Leo reproductions. I mean, you got people that have literally reproduced the Bucker Rogers Starfighter out of 3D printed, and they're selling it. So, and this guy, he's still selling. You know what I mean? He still has a wait list. So I don't really think your little reproduction or your Lego or brick figure inspired figure is going to really bring down the gauntlet of copyrights.
I
So I
think
wouldn't worry too much.
Yeah, I think for Lego, the patent has already expired some years back, and it's not 100% copy of Lego. It's I mean, the pegs on the suits are add-on. I've changed a bit of parameters, the dimensions here and there, so I think it should be pretty safe. It's yeah, I guess it should be good. We shouldn't get any problems with it.
And like I said, if anything, you would get a cease and desist order first, and once you get that order, that letter. We would figure out who owns the license, and then we can get on their butt about reproducing figures here, or making some new stuff.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's the plan.
And it's good thing that you apparently researched the how Lego copyright works, because I remember that a few years ago there was this issue where the Lego was suing these companies, but now even like Transformers and GI Joe and some of these Hasbro brands had their Creo brand of very identical brick toys, which were by the way, I think great. And they weren't cease and desisted by Lego, and also they're now Mattel is, I think, doing them with their Mega Blocks. I think that's Mattel, and they're doing Masters of the Universe and maybe even Power Rangers, or no, that's Hasbro, sorry. And so Lego, I don't know if they would or could do anything against you, but with all these other companies producing similar figures.
Like I said, I personally wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe because the design is different. It's not an outright copy of their existing product, and the scale is off as well. So it should be good there.
Awesome. Nick, any more questions that you thought of?
I think I'm good. But Jerrick, do you have anything you want to add that you can think of that we didn't ask or we didn't cover yet?
No, none that I can think of for now.
You'll think of it once we're done, and be like, damn, I should have asked that question. Oh well.
Yeah, we can always just do an add-on later.
Yeah, but
that's why we have the comment section of the post, right?
Exactly. So you can like discuss it with people asking questions, and maybe we'll have a second, a follow-up episode, in a year, 2 years time to figure out what happened, and maybe we'll be confronted by a very rich, Singapore businessman. Who's like, I started business, talking to you guys, and now I'm like filthy rich and I swim in money, based on because of my Centurions figures. So you never know. Maybe you'll be inspired by your daughter and you'll make a daughter-sized, Centurions Lego figure or something.
Yeah, I thought of a giant size, maybe a meter up or something, but that's in the very far future.
You know what? If you ever get there, a life-size Jake Rockwell, I would totally buy that and just like display it in the corner or something.
Yeah, that's something we can always look into.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be great. Jerrick, thanks so much for your time. I can speak for myself, and I hope Nick also agrees that we had a blast, and this was such a fun and eye-opening discussion.
Thanks for having me, and it's really an honor to be doing this podcast with you guys.
We appreciate you coming on and discussing your point of view on the process of making toys. So thank you. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
And if you guys, thank you for listening to the show, and hopefully it was something that fascinated you guys as well as it fascinated us. If you have any questions, Jerrick, is it okay? Like, if people want to contact you? Would you want to have them reach out to you via email or Facebook, or should people contact you actually, or you'll just like tell the group when the orders would be available?
I would let the groups. I'll post it in the group that the orders is available. But for if there's any questions, they can just message me on Messenger, and I'll be happy to respond.
Awesome.
Just know that there's a time difference here in Singapore. It's GMT +8. It really helps. Yeah. Power Extreme.